About a decade ago, a home in Gary, Indiana, was demolished due to intense demonic activity that occurred there. The residence became known as a true portal to hell, as countless supernatural events were recorded there. Residents who passed by the house reported frightening experiences, including episodes of demonic possession. The first contact with the house revealed disturbing details. In 2012, a mother who lived there shared her experiences, including an episode in which her daughter levitated above her bed, suspended in mid-air. The girl was lifted without any logical explanation and floated in the middle of the room. Furthermore, the demon that inhabited the place used to speak to family members, and his tone of voice was described as something that sounded like death itself. Amidst so many demonstrations, something that caught our attention was the woman's report about swarms of flies that mysteriously appeared on the porch of the house, even during the harsh winter. A similar phenomenon had been documented in the history of the Amityville house. Additionally, a shadowy figure was seen appearing in the window of one of the rooms, although the house was empty at the time. A disturbing detail is that visitors noticed a residue running down the curtains of the same window. The reports didn't stop there. The woman and her family witnessed a clear liquid substance running down the walls and heard footsteps descending the basement stairs with no one around. Most impressive was the testimony of doctors, nurses, a priest and several police officers who witnessed supernatural events. Among the most shocking records was the case of the woman's son, who was seen walking backwards through the walls of a hospital. Health professionals fled in terror, as there was no explanation for what they were witnessing. The fact that so many witnesses, including credible people, confirmed the events made the situation even more alarming. The presence of dark creatures inside the house was also reported by several witnesses. Some people said they saw monstrous, terrifying-looking figures. Faced with so much evidence, even members of the security forces and medical professionals had to admit that something inexplicable was happening in that place. Ghost Adventures host and producer Zak Bagans purchased the house in 2014, but later decided to demolish it. In his analysis, he described the place as something beyond comprehension, stating that the residence housed an extremely dark, powerful, and intelligent force. The conclusion was that, in fact, there was a portal to hell there. The testimonies left no doubt about the intensity of the events inside the house. The priest called to perform a purification ritual confirmed the demonic presence in the place. Reports indicated that people were thrown against walls and furniture by an invisible force. Creatures of different shapes and appearances, such as shadows of men, dark monsters, and the spectre of an elderly woman with red eyes and a hood, were seen inside the house. Furthermore, a strange, odorless oil flowed from the walls, leaving everyone perplexed. The woman who lived in the house with her 3 children before Zak Bagans bought it recalled the terrifying moments. Latoya Ammons, the name of the former resident, was brought to tears when she told how she fled the residence after witnessing her daughter being levitated. Among the most frightening phenomena, she highlighted the demonic voice that manifested itself in the house, describing it as something dead and lifeless. Trying to protect herself, she anointed the rooms with holy oil and read passages from the Bible aloud. But the torments continued unabated. Despite the abundance of reports about demonic cases, this is a topic often avoided in many churches today. However, Jesus Christ addressed this issue several times in his ministry. The Bible mentions demons in several passages. In the Old Testament, they are mentioned 3 times directly as demons, 8 times as evil spirits, and in some cases they are described as princes, as in the book of Daniel, chapter 10. In the New Testament, demons are mentioned more frequently and receive different names, such as unclean spirits and evil spirits. To understand the origin and evolution of demons, it is necessary to go back to the beginning. Regarding their origin, there is a great debate, as the Bible does not present a detailed account of how they emerged. Given this, there are several theories that seek to explain its existence. One of the most accepted hypotheses among biblical scholars is that demons are, in fact, fallen angels. This belief is based on the story of Lucifer, an angel who rebelled against God and was expelled from heaven. According to this narrative, 1/3 of the heavenly angels followed Lucifer in his revolt, becoming the beings known as demons. The Bible reinforces this idea in Matthew 25:41, where it is written, "Then he will also say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.'" Jesus' use of the expression, his angels, indicates that these beings are linked to Satan and a part of his legion. This passage suggests that hell was created as a place of punishment for Satan and his followers. However, some scholars dispute this idea, pointing to verses such as 2 Peter 2:4 and Jude 1:6, which mention fallen angels who were imprisoned. These passages say, "For God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them into hell, imprisoning them in dark abysses to be reserved for judgment." 2 Peter 2:4. In Jude 1-6 it is written, "And the angels who did not keep their original state, but abandoned their own home, he has kept under darkness, in eternal chains, until the judgment of the great day." These verses suggest that certain fallen angels are already in chains and awaiting final judgment. However, it is evident that not all of the rebellious angels were imprisoned, as Satan is still free and active in the world. This raises an intriguing question: why were some fallen angels imprisoned while others, including the leader of the rebellion himself, remain at large? One possible explanation is that Satan's freedom is part of the divine plan, serving as a test to strengthen believers' faith. The idea that demons are fallen angels is widely supported by several biblical texts and the interpretation of numerous scholars. Although there is debate over some passages that indicate that certain fallen angels were imprisoned, the general narrative suggests that there is a distinction between different groups of rebellious angels. While some are in chains, Satan and other followers continue to operate in the world, spreading their influence and trying to turn people away from God. One of the widely discussed explanations for the origin of demons is the theory that they were the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, destroyed during the flood reported in the book of Genesis. This theory suggests that when the Nephilim were wiped out by the great flood, their souls did not perish, but remained in the world and transformed into evil entities. In this way, these ancient physical giants would have become spiritual beings capable of causing torment. Although the Bible does not provide explicit details about the fate of the souls of the Nephilim after their destruction, proponents of this idea argue that such spirits could not simply have ceased to exist. The evil inherent in these beings is believed to have persisted beyond the death of their bodies, allowing them to assume a new form as demons. However, this theory presents significant theological challenges as it conflicts with the idea of divine judgment. If God decided to exterminate the Nephilim because of their corruption and wickedness, it would be contradictory to allow their souls to continue to exist as even more active evil forces in the world. Furthermore, this hypothesis is not universally accepted among scholars and theologians, as there is little direct biblical information about the fate of the souls of the Nephilim. Some believe that, because they were the result of the union of the sons of God with human women, these beings were completely eradicated in the flood, both in body and spirit. Others speculate that their souls may have been confined or subjected to a specific trial that prevented them from continuing their evil actions. The idea that demons originated from the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim is interesting and offers a possible connection between different passages of Scripture, but it remains one of several theories without definitive biblical evidence. Among the various existing explanations, the two most accepted are the theory of fallen angels and the theory of the spirits of the Nephilim. However, there are some less conventional ideas, such as the hypothesis that demons belong to a pre-Adamic race, that is, a civilization that would have existed before the creation of Adam and Eve. This assumption, although less popular, is based on speculative interpretations of some biblical passages that would indicate a possible gap between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. Throughout the ministry of Jesus Christ, many events demonstrated the existence of demons and their submission to divine power. The fear that these spiritual beings felt for Jesus was evident whenever there was an encounter between them. Wherever Jesus went, reports of demonic possession emerged, allowing his authority and compassion to be manifested. One of the most striking episodes occurred in the region of Gerasa, where Jesus encountered a man possessed by a legion of demons. The term legion is significant because, in the Roman context, it referred to a military group consisting of 3,000 to 6,000 soldiers, indicating that the man could be under the control of thousands of evil spirits. The demons, upon recognizing Jesus, begged him not to torment them before the appointed time. As a sign of his authority, Jesus cast out the spirits, allowing them to enter a herd of pigs, which immediately rushed into a lake and drowned. This event not only demonstrated the intense suffering of the possessed man, but also revealed Christ's immense ability to free those who were under the influence of evil. Another significant case involved the daughter of a Canaanite woman. Despite cultural and religious barriers, this desperate mother approached Jesus, begging for her daughter's release. The demonic spirit that tormented the girl caused great suffering. But moved by the woman's faith, Jesus cast out the demon and restored the child's health. In another episode, a boy possessed by an evil spirit was brought to Jesus after the disciples were unable to cast him out. The spirit caused convulsions and intense suffering to the child. Demonstrating his superior authority, Jesus rebuked the demon and immediately healed the boy. Mary Magdalene's encounter with Jesus was also remarkable, as she had been dominated by 7 demons. Her state of despair was total, but after Jesus' intervention, her life was transformed, becoming one of his most faithful followers. Each of these episodes highlights the deep suffering of the possessed people and how only the power of Christ was capable of freeing them. The demons, upon recognizing their authority, reacted with fear and submission, being forced to withdraw when ordered. Today, the prevailing view of demons has changed drastically, reflecting the growing influence of secularism and materialism. Most people no longer believe in the existence of these beings, or even consider the spiritual world a reality. This disbelief can be attributed to several factors, including the secularization of Western societies, which has redefined ancient spiritual concepts as mere myths or psychological projections. In recent decades, rejection of the idea of demons has become increasingly common, and today many see them as simple fictional characters comparable to vampires, Bigfoot, or the Loch Ness Monster. This thinking reflects the current mentality, where even popular songs mention demons in a trivial way, without people realizing the danger it represents. They are not aware of what they are invoking or what they are playing with. Despite this widespread disbelief, the Gospels are full of confrontations between Jesus Christ and demons, proving that these beings exist and continue to operate in the world. The notion that demons disappeared has no biblical foundation. Even today, there are demonic manifestations occurring around the world, but society's spiritual blindness prevents many from recognizing this reality. There is a well-known phrase that says, "The devil's greatest trick was to convince the world that he does not exist." This ploy has allowed him to operate freely as the god of this century, influencing events and corrupting minds without most people even realizing it. Just look at the current state of the world to identify its influence. Common sense has dissolved, and society has started to call evil good and good evil. What was once clearly recognized as right or wrong has become subjective, resulting in a scenario of distorted values. Demons are real, and their influence is more present than ever. Even so, society continues to deny this truth, ignoring the obvious signs of its actions. Inexplicable events continue to happen, and disregarding the existence of the devil and his agents only makes us more vulnerable to his influence. Those who reject this spiritual reality lose the ability to recognize and fight the invisible battles raging around them. This denialism further strengthens the domination of evil over the world.